Okay, folks, it's now early Monday afternoon. I've got both sides shaped down. I have to sand that with the orbital sander, a new toy that I went out and bought myself yesterday because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of sanding for finish work. Anyway, I've laid out on the auxiliary rudder what's going on. And this mark here is where I'll make the lower gudgeon. Remember, it'll have a piece of PVC pipe attached on the leading edge. Just put some epoxy putty and then wrap it with biaxial, from maybe about here over that way. At least 4 laminations, maybe 6. These 2 parallel lines mark where the gudgeon pipe will be. That won't be on the rudder itself. That'll actually be bolted to the hull. Be a big 2-inch stainless steel pipe with the bushing at the top and the bottom. And then what I'll do, use 3/4 inch pipe, and I'll get a 3/4 inch stainless steel solid rod and drop it down from the top, because this is where the upper gudgeon will be, and it will go down inside the pipe to the lower gudgeon and stick through there. I'll get about 1 meter. I think it's long enough for that pipe, and I'll put some kind of thing at the top, weld a big nut to it or something to keep it from falling all the way through. That would be bad. And then here is the angle. This is the excess material I'm going to cut off the trailing edge of the rudder. This is not down in the water. Now, when the rudder is in the water line from about here where my finger is, somewhere in this vicinity anyway, down to the bottom is 3 feet. So the blade will be in the water 3 feet. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with the trailing edge. I'm going to taper that out, not the wood. I'll use filler and taper that out to a feather edge. So that'll make it a little wider, 11, somewhere between 11 and 11.5 inches total width. So almost 3 square feet below the water line, which should be more than adequate, and at least 40% of the surface area of the main rudder. Okay, well, let me get busy here. Once I cut this part out, I got to radius the corner, top and bottom, all the way down to blend in with the, where it steps down. And then do some more crack filling. And this part of the project, then it's got to be fiberglass, of course, and faired out, smoothed out, and painted and such. Anyway, for right now, that's it. Until later. Hello again, folks. Here it is a number of hours later. Got the final shaping and sanding, rounding off the corners done. I'll have to go around and sand off a few of the places that I filled with epoxy putty. That's duct tape back there over where it was filled so it doesn't sag out. I have to fill that groove yet. Tomorrow I'm going to get some epoxy and some fiberglass, so I can start on that part of the project. So I don't know exactly how much time. I've got maybe 8, 10 hours, something like that. Not including the time it took to go get the wood and all that. So yeah, maybe 8 or 10 hours in laying this out, shaping it down, sanding it, filling it and all that. The fiberglassing work, that's going to be another, I don't know, half a dozen hours anyway. 2 layers of biaxial 1808 and fairing, painting, and installing the gudgeons, and making the trim tab and the supports for the trim tab shaft. Fortunately, I got a big old piece of UHDP, ultra high density polyethylene, used for cutting boards. It's like 3/4 of an inch thick, pretty big chunk. It was a cutting board, or is a cutting board, but I can cut it up to make this upper and lower supports for the trim tab shaft, and I'll have to do kind of a floating support somewhere there around where the lower gudgeon is, because the trim tab shaft will be 12 millimeter or 1/2 inch diameter, and with the force of the water on that blade, it would bow it sideways, so it needs something to constrain the sideways bowing of that shaft under load. So it's progressing nicely. Looking forward to getting more done. Bye for now. Okay, folks, here it is. The woodwork is pretty much all done. Sanded, radius, trailing edge been cut off. The only thing I have to do is fill this groove. I'm going over this morning. They're supposed to be getting a shipment of epoxy in today, so I can do that. They already have the fiberglass fabric. I'm hoping they also have some kind of epoxy putty. I mean, I got those 2 little cans, brought those from the Philippines, but for doing this much area fairing, that's nowhere near enough. Plus, that stuff is awfully thick, really hard to spread out well. So this is the starboard side, and of course over here where the got chunked out from the wood grain going down instead of up or whatever, got that all filled out and smoothed off. So pretty much it's looking good, ready to go. And I don't know if I said it before, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to taper this off to a feather point, not by reducing the wood. I'll fill this in. I got a way that I do that that works pretty slick, that won't leave a real fragile edge on the wood. Anyway, for right now anyway, that's it until I get the epoxy, which is going to be a day. Fill in the crack on the other side there. I have to let that cure, of course. And then I'm just getting 1 liter plus it's a 2-to-1 mix approximately. So 1 liter of resin, a 1/2 liter of hardener. That won't be enough to do all the fiberglassing, but it should be enough to get me started. Bye for now.